All right, so today we're doing a deep dive into an investment architecture that's, well, it's trying to redefine the relationship between capital, creativity, and commitment.
It's called the boutique investment concept, or BIC for short.
Exactly. And the whole philosophy is built on this modular design. Think of it like everything from a dollar of capital to a piece of advice is a specific structural component.
Like a building block.
Right. In fact, the creators of BIC define the whole framework using exactly 11 structural units. They call them Lego pieces.
Which is a great analogy.
It is. So our mission today is to really understand the strategic advantage here. I mean, how does all this complexity actually simplify things? And does it really bridge that massive gap between, a visionary founder and the power of institutional resources?
I think that modularity is the core idea. It's the breakthrough. This isn't just another fund. It's a whole system designed to get rid of the friction and the goal drift you see in traditional investing.
Goal drift. That's a good way to put it.
The sources define it as creating smarter, more connected opportunities by being super strict about defining roles, relationships, and this is critical mandates.
And there's a digital platform that makes it all work, right?
Yes, absolutely. The whole community engages with the model through a platform called Aknar.
Aknar.
Aknar is the central engine. It's the digital nervous system that links the startups directly to the specialized help they need, which BIC calls the supporting orbit. The whole thing is predefined, hence the 11 pieces we need to talk about.
Okay, let's unpack this then. If you're building a community like this, it has to start with the people, right? The raw materials.
The players in the game.
Exactly. And the first 8 of these Lego pieces define the players. It starts with 3 distinct investor profiles, and what's fascinating to me is that BIC just refuses to treat all investors as the same.
And that's a strategic safeguard. By separating the motives of investors, you make sure the actual investment vehicles are pure in their mission.
Okay, let's define them. First up, the venture investors.
These are your classic, bold risk takers.
They're optimizing for those breakthrough returns. They're comfortable with high risk if the payoff could be huge.
And then, in contrast to that, you have the second piece, the business investors.
The steady builders.
Exactly. Their focus is on balanced profit, consistent, dependable returns, the stability in the portfolio.
And the third piece feels very modern. It's the impact investors.
These are your purpose-driven partners. Yes, they want financial returns, but their main focus is on measurable social outcomes. It's about positive impact and capital growth.
This separation seems so deliberate. I mean, if I were running a traditional fund, I might argue that having all 3 types in one place gives me flexibility. So why does BIC force them apart? Isn't there a risk they're trading flexibility for a more complex structure?
That's a great question, and it gets right to the heart of the strategy. See, flexibility can often lead to that goal drift we mentioned, especially when things get tough. Imagine a fund where a venture investor is pushing for disruption, but an impact investor is focused on community metrics. Their goals are in conflict. By separating the profiles, the investment vehicle, the actual container for the deal, can pick only the capital that perfectly aligns with the startup's mission. It means an impact investor's money won't accidentally fund a pure, high-risk VC play.
And for you, the founder, it means you know exactly what kind of partner you're getting. No more compromising your social mission just to get funding.
Precisely.
Which brings us to the other side of the equation, the 5 categories of companies they invest in. This really breaks the mold of a typical tech fund because the range here it's massive.
It is. And it shows their commitment to diversification and different kinds of growth.
So at the top end, you've got the hyper-growth tech ventures.
The classic disruptive startup that needs to scale and scale fast.
But right after that, they have something called hybrid growth tech.
Which is a more mature view, I think. It's about balancing that innovation with, financial stability and sustainable operations.
And then they move into the traditional economy, which I find interesting. The third category is hybrid SMEs.
So an established business that's blending its steady growth with new technology. Think of a factory that's going through a big digital transformation.
Then you have the fourth one, which seems critical for balance, traditional SMEs.
Right. These are established businesses focused purely on consistent results. They might not give you those crazy VC returns, but they offer reliability. That really appeals to the business investors.
And finally, number 5, the social enterprises.
Which connects directly back to the impact investors. These are companies where the social mission is baked into everything they do.
So what stands out to me here is that BIC is basically saying stability and traditional results are just as valuable as disruption. You just have to structure it correctly.
Exactly. They're optimizing to capture value across the entire economy, from aggressive tech to predictable profits. And that completes the first 8 pieces, the 3 investor motives and the 5 company types.
Okay, so we know who the players are. Now we need to understand the rules of the game. If the first part was about motives and targets, this next part is about the depth of commitment. This is where the last 3 Lego pieces come in, the investment modules.
And these are so important because they define how involved an investor is. They clarify right away if you're just a silent partner or if you're actually helping run the show.
The first module, the entry point, is the believer.
This is your foundational layer.
Yeah.
Believers are providing passive capital. It's about long-term trust. Think of them like a passive LP in a traditional fund.
Okay, then moving up in engagement, we have the supporter.
And this distinction is crucial. Supporters bring specialized expertise as well as capital.
So they're active participants.
Very active. They're often providing hands-on tactical help. They're injecting the know-how to solve immediate problems.
And then the most involved group is the writers.
Yes. And if supporters are tactical, writers are strategic.
They're shaping the overall strategy. We're talking board seats, governance, directing the long-term vision of the whole investment vehicle.
They're directing the ship. That's a perfect way to put it.
So supporters are in the engine room and writers are on the bridge.
Exactly. And formalizing it like this means no one oversteps their role. You go from the foundational trust of the believer to the tactical help of the supporter, all the way up to the high-level governance of the writer.
With those 3, we've now covered all 11 pieces that define the human relationships. But how does this all get pulled together? That's where the investment vehicles, or IVs, come in.
The IVs are the containers. They're modular structures themselves, and they physically and legally bring together the right investors, the right companies, and the right experts for a single shared purpose.
So an IV focused on, say, sustainable farming might only pull from impact investors.
Right.
And select social enterprises and maybe some hybrid SMEs as the companies. And then it would use a mix of believers and supporters to get the job done. It turns the whole philosophy into something tangible.
That's it, exactly. The goal is to align capital, knowledge, and impact with surgical precision. And this is where that platform, Aknar, becomes more than just a networking tool.
Tell me more about that. How does Aknar actually manage all this complexity?
Okay, so Aknar manages the workflow. Let's say a tech venture in the system suddenly hits a regulatory wall in a new country. A normal startup might spend weeks trying to find the right lawyer.
And a lot of money.
And a lot of money. Within BIC, that problem gets logged in Aknar. The platform instantly identifies the right legal expert from the supporting orbit and flags them.
And it sets up the engagement.
It formalizes it. It links the venture to a specific supporter for a set amount of time, making sure the expertise is deployed immediately and it's all accounted for. It's the connective tissue that lets all 11 pieces interact without any bureaucratic lag.
That speed and precision must be the whole point. But let's shift focus because a core argument of BIC is that its value comes from beyond capital.
Yes, the capital is necessary, but the support infrastructure is the real competitive edge.
This is the third part of the puzzle, the dynamic growth engine.
The true value for the company being invested in is that supporting orbit, the tailored expertise they can get immediately through the Aknar platform.
And we're not just talking about a generic contact list here. This is active support designed to strengthen a company at every stage.
Right, to stop problems before they become catastrophic. There are really 5 critical areas of expertise baked into the BIC structure.
Okay, what are they?
Well, you start with the basics. Comprehensive legal services, which is essential for any growing company. Then financial services, which goes way beyond accounting into, sophisticated capital structuring.
Then you've got the things that help you grow, like marketing services.
And crucial operational services. This one is so often overlooked, but it's vital for a company trying to integrate new tech without breaking its core business.
Right. And the final one brings it all back to the modern focus of this concept, sustainability services.
Which ensures that the impact investor's mission is actually being measured and embedded in the company's daily operations, not just, slapped on at the end.
So the real strength here is that this orbit provides all this operational muscle from day one.
It reduces so much of the friction that causes fast-growing companies to stumble. Instead of the CEO spending all their time sourcing consultants, they get immediate access to pre-vetted experts who already understand their mission.
So, what does this all mean for you, whether you're a founder or an investor looking at this? It means you're joining a movement where capital, innovation, and purpose connect seamlessly, one structural piece at a time. It's about reshaping how businesses grow and how we hold each other accountable.
As a final synthesis, I'd say the boutique investment concept tries to eliminate ambiguity. It's about getting rid of the inherent conflicts in the investment relationship. By formalizing the structure around those 11 human components and clicking in that automated sporting orbit, they create a highly accountable and efficient system for deploying capital. It favors precise alignment over just generic flexibility.
So, you've just taken a deep dive into the blueprint for a fully integrated investment community. We've gone from the initial motive through all the modular relationship structures to that fully tailored operational support. It's a compelling argument for discipline in finance.
It really is.
Which leaves us with a final thought, a big question, really. Given how precisely this BIC framework categorizes every single person and every single process, does this highly formalized 11-piece model truly represent the future of investing, a system built on structure and defined roles? Or, when a crisis inevitably hits, does success still ultimately rely most heavily on that unquantifiable element? The long-term foundational trust provided by that core believer module, that's something to chew on as you consider where the foundation of future growth really lies.